So we've thrown our slab, built our crane, and this is really where we're doing the assembly of the turnout. So I have the yard, we bought the building, we put the plant in there to do the machining. What you'll see here are our concrete sleepers for the turnouts. We buy those in from Colossal.
For my Railways Africa viewers, Colossal, I'm just going to say girl power, have an extensive history in manufacturing and supplying concrete sleepers to South Africa and Southern Africa. So I'm pleased to see some added local content happening.
Absolutely. So all the machine parts are manufactured, our frog is imported, and then we basically bring it all together, lay everything out. But as it came in, there was actually quite a bit of work that had to be done in terms of machining and just to make sure that the fit was going to be 100%. All the rails, because they are actually 350 LHT, both the 48 and the 51, the all-important 51 blade, they are imported, but they have all been machined and fitted here. We've also managed to really start bringing in a lot of local content. It's important. My passion is to bring industry back into the country in the steel sector. I mean, it's one thing that I say we've lost and manufacturing abilities in this country, and I hope that basically we can start reigniting it.
You have a long history with the steel sector.
I have. I mean, I've been working now in the group for about 23 years. Seen a lot of changes, and particularly also what's been happening with ArcelorMittal and with Newcastle possibly closing. We hope it doesn't. Been very vocal in that. I'm very vocal in terms of really the duties that need to be put in place to protect us, to protect local industry, to get it back up and running. Maybe it's a dream, but really it's something that we need. Our marketplace is no longer just South Africa. It has to be Africa.
Absolutely. So you're now going to introduce me to Pieter.
I can't wait to introduce you, Pieter, because when you start getting me on the technical side is when I say enough, enough.
Pieter, I believe you are the guru.
43 years in the trade. I think I did quite well, getting the opportunity from Zak to put another product that's the same that I did in Transnet time 20 years ago. I can show you how it works and the different parts, but this product is better than the product that we did 20 years ago. We do have the 51 rails, which is part of the very first design. That's the first rail and the blade. What is better on that is the rods that's inside it that moves the blade up and down. These blades are 9 meters long and they are fixed and they are semi-curved.
Electronically, that's obviously managed by the control center.
So that's correct, yes, and then it will have electrical machine in it, and it's got the different rods in it as well.
Are there speed restrictions when you come through a turnout? Yes. What are the standards for that? South
African standards in the transit environment, straight is 60, although it's tested for 100. 30 on a turnout.
And then obviously, you know, the weight and under load, there's different pressures that go through, especially on the blade.
Between the blade and the stock rail, there's some stops that keeps that forces in place, and then the two rails works together to take up that forces, and that forces goes onto the sleeper, and the pads in the sleeper that disappears into the substructure of the turn. What is better than the very first model of 20 years ago is that this model is built with a 4-hole heel block, and it's got thick bolts in it to make sure it takes up the longitudinal forces in the open track, because the turnout is the weakest link in your open track, and we need to compensate and keep the track in place. If we don't have this, it will kick and you will have a bend and you can have a derailment.
I see the pads. These are the rubber pads.
That's correct. This is hydral pads. What's nice with the hydral pad is not all the forces that's going into the concrete sleeper, it gets reflected back to the rail, and that makes it that fastening lasts longer as well. So we've made a jig here, and the concrete sleepers are spaced to transit specification, which are used in this turnout as well for going into the track at transit as for test as well.
You've now manufactured this, it's going to be delivered. How are you getting it to clients?
After we've assembled it and we've quality controlled it, we make markings of all the position of the sleepers onto the web of the rail, not the web or the foot of the rail, and then that tells the installer where the sleeper needs to go when he actually builds it in track. You don't have to use skilled labor to build this thing. Everything, you don't even need a measuring tape because everything is already marked on the rail. That special bit in the middle is made of chrome manganese, which is hardened, and that is where the wheel transfer from one track to the next track. It's bounded by rails. The component next to it is the stock and guard. This keeps the whole axle in place so it doesn't go the incorrect path when it crosses over. The 20-year-old model doesn't have these big bolts. Again, we've got 30mm bolts here on the stock and guard rails as well as in the frog area. The reason for that is there's lots of lateral forces here, and the bolts does break, especially where it transfers right in the middle here. By putting these bigger bolts in, it is there forever, and your maintenance is like in zero. When it comes to blocks and bolts.
We've got open access coming through. You've got African countries doing a lot of railway development and infrastructure maintenance and new builds. Where do you see the biggest opportunity for Zak?
Where we thought that we would start off is with your general freight lines as well as your passenger lines, where they use the 48 kilogram per meter rail turnout sets. Our system is compatible with the current system that is used within the SADC region, which is on your Cape gauge.
And certified accordingly?
Certified accordingly. And so our target market is mainly on the N1 and N2 type lines, where this turnout set is used on which can go up to a 22-ton axle load. We are aiming not just to work locally, but also abroad. There's a big scope on these sets. There's some new designs we're also looking at, and we also aim to go on a bigger size rail. So this is the beginning. It's baby steps. You have to start somewhere, and then from here we definitely want to look at bigger size rails, bigger turnouts as well.
To find out more about the turnouts that are coming from Zak and the 1 in 12 and their other projects of interest, be sure to connect with them at the Southern African Railways Association's conference and exhibition that will be taking place in August this year.